Vandami Bante, and good evening, everyone. And good morning for everyone in the West Hemisphere in United States. Welcome to the Practical Abhidhamma. I'm Edmund, and I'm the meeting co-host who will be helping Bante and everyone in the session. May we invite Bante to start the teachings, please? Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu.
Before we start Dhamma talk, we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So today we are going to continue the mental process of higher attainments like jhana, magga, and phala. So when we are going to practice, we also should know how many types of meditators, who we are. According to Buddha's teaching, we can find many times in many different texts. There are 4 types of meditators. Okay, so as a Buddhist, we have to meditate to attain higher attainment. We also should know who we are, what kind of meditators we are. So according to Buddha's teaching, there are 4 types of meditators. So today we are going to continue the mental process of higher attainment. So to achieve higher attainment, we have to practice. We also have to know what kind of meditators we are. According to Buddha's teaching, in many texts, we can find 4 types of meditator. So they are dukkha patipada, danda vinya, practice with difficulty and sluggish attainment. So there are some meditators. They may encounter many difficulties when they are practicing, especially before they attain asset concentration. Then we also have sluggish attainment. After attaining asset concentration, it will take very long time for them to attain jhana. That is called dukkha patipada danda vinya. Then we also have second types. Dukkha patipada khipa vinya. Practice with difficulty and swift attainment. So when we have enough barami, although we have very many difficulties when we are practicing, after attaining asset concentration, we can attain jhana easily. This is the second type. We have the third type, sukha patipada danda vinya. Easy in practice and sluggish in attainment. There are some meditators. They can improve very easily in the very beginning up to asset concentration. But after the asset concentration, they will have difficulty, they will improve slowly, and they will have attainment very slowly. That's the third type of meditator. We have the last one, sukha patipada khipa vinya. Easy in practice and swift attainment. So, this is the best person. In modern community, we cannot find that kind of people easily. There are some meditator, they will not have any difficulty when they are practicing. They can also attain jhana very easily. So in brief, there are 4 types of meditators in our modern society. You may remember previous talks when we talk about jhana consciousness in the very beginning. Actually, that course is in Singapore. Okay. The main thing is when we when we practice, why we have too much difficulty? Why we have very slow attainment? There are also many other causes. So when we have a lot of impediments, we have to do many different things. We also have to meditate at the same time. Our mind will become very busy, then we cannot meditate easily. We cannot achieve jhana easily. Another thing is our defilements. When we have very strong and powerful defilements, we cannot meditate well. Our concentration will be up and down. Then we cannot improve easily. Then we also should have suitable conditions, such as weather, food, then association, then with good friends, also proper Dhamma talks or proper Dhamma listening, proper Dhamma discussion. If we have a lot of supporting causes, we can practice easier and we can also attain faster. Then sometimes we have very weak controlling faculties. That means our confidence is not so strong, our awareness is also not so strong, or our effort is also not powerful enough. Then our concentration becomes very weak, our wisdom faculties become very weak. Then we cannot improve easily. If we can balance all the controlling faculties, we can practice faster. So, in brief, when we have all these conditions, we will improve slowly. Then if we are very skillful in practicing, in jhana or in nimitta, if we don't have very strong defilements, or if we have already practiced samatha and vipassana, we also have suitable conditions, we also have very strong and powerful controlling faculties, then we can improve faster. So these are the first things we should know in our practice. Okay, briefly we have 4 types of meditator. If we can meditate very well, then we can also attain jhana. When we attain jhana, what kind of mental process do we have? So when we attain jhana, as you have known, our mind faculties or mind become very bright, especially when our mind becomes very pure. The mind produces mentality become very pure and bright. Then we can also say mind become very bright. So we may have many different steps. The first step, we have to meditate until we can see the nimitta, especially Patipaka nimitta, the counterpart sign. When we can focus on the counterpart sign, the Patipaka nimitta, we can attain jhana. Before attaining jhana, we must attain asset concentration. But anyway, when we are going to attain jhana, we also have to know what's the mental process. Then the first mind moment will be Manodwara Vajana, mindful adverting consciousness. So mindful adverting consciousness will advert our mind towards the object. Now one more thing here we have to know. All the jhana will take, almost all the jhana will take concept as object. For example, the first jhana, or anapanasati. So when we are practicing anapanasati, that our mind will take the breath as object in the very beginning. When we can see the nimitta, especially in Pratibhaga nimitta, our mind can keep knowing the Pratibhaga nimitta, the counterpart sign. If our mind can absorb on it, we can say we have attained jhana. So now here, mind to adverting consciousness. It will advance our mind toward the nimitta. This is the first mind moment. After that we have parikama, preparation. This is actually sensual sphere consciousness. Sensual sphere, wholesome consciousness. Now one more thing here we have to know. This parikama, preparation, were associated with knowledge or wisdom. Many people also misunderstand. Jhana is not wisdom. Jhana is only concentration. Actually, without wisdom, we cannot attain jhana. So in the parikama, the preparation mind moment, that mind is also wholesome consciousness for ordinary people. It will be functional consciousness for arhat. Anyway, we have to know parikama, preparation, were associated with wisdom. Then the second one, upachara, assets. You may have known that asset concentration, right? That means it's very close to jhana. That's why we call assets. It's also similar to jhana. That is why we also call it assets or upachara in Pali. So yeah, upachara means it's very close to absorption states. You may have known the fence near your house is the boundary of your house. This is also the boundary, upachara also boundary of your jhana, absorption states. Very close to absorption states. Then we also have another meanings. It's also very close to the next one, change of lineage. Change of lineage will come later. It is also too close to jhana. We don't say that is it. Assets. Okay, for example, the wall in your house and the fence. The wall is in your house already. We're gonna say that is a boundary of your house or close to your house. The fence will be called boundary, delimitary, or maybe close to your house. Then again, we have another one, anuloma, conformity. Okay, parikama is preparatory, preparation. This also sensual sphere consciousness. Wholesome sensual sphere consciousness for ordinary people and also lower noble persons. If arhats, parikama will be functional consciousness. Then they will arise only one time. Now one more thing here. This also very sharp and strong in wisdom. They were associated with the wisdom. Without wisdom, we cannot attain jhana. Many people misunderstand that jhana is not wisdom. There's only concentration. Actually, jhana also associated with wisdom. Without wisdom, jhana cannot arise. So in brief, parikama, preparations, is also one of the mind moments that arise before the jhana mental process, jhana attainment. Now we have the next one, upachara. So upachara, we translate as assets, also very close to jhana. So in your house, you may have fence. Fence is close to house. but we don't say house. There's also the wall in your house. It's the wall of your house. We cannot say the fence. So later we may have one mind moment called Kodaravu. It's very close to jhana. But this one is upachara, apex, the boundary, or close to jhana. Then again, we may have the next one, anuloma, conformity. Conformity means it make conformity between parikama and also apana absorptions. That's what they are called conformity. Then we have the next one, Kodarabu, change of lineage. Here, change of lineage means it's changing from inferior state to superior state. So inferior state means we have sensual consciousness. Then we are going to use absorption consciousness. That's why we call it change of lineage. So we have 4 wholesome impulsion consciousness. We can say impulsion mind moments, parikama, preparation, upachara, accepts, anuloma, conformity, Kodarabu, change of lineage. These 4 have the same. These 4 are the same consciousness, but different functioning. So that means all of them are sensual sphere wholesome consciousness that associate with wisdom. For ordinary people and lower noble person. These 4 mind moments will be functional consciousnesses when arhat attain jhana. After Kodarabu, we have one more mind moment. This is called jhana, absorption. So, in the short time, when we start practicing and when we attain jhana for the first time, there will be only one mind moment, absorption state. After that, falling into bhavanga, life continuum. That's the mental process that attain jhana. When we attain jhana, then we have to see mental process like this. Bhavanga chalana. Then bhavangu bachera. Here we don't have adita bhavanga, past bhavanga. Why? Jhana objects are very clear. It's not like sensual sphere objects. This is also mental process. As soon as we close eyes, we can see the nimitta. We can focus on the nimitta anytime. That's why this is called, there is no adita bhavanga in this mind moment. Then we have bhavangu bachera and also, Manorara Vachana, mind of advancing. Then we also have parikama. Pa is a parikama. U is a upachara. Nu is anuloma. Ko is a Kodarabu. After that, jhana and bhavanga. It will be a city of bhavanga. One more that we have to know. When we have parikama, upachara, anuloma, Kodarabu, 4 mind moments before attaining absorption state, it will be for manda. We already talk about manda, right? Manda means slow or sluggish attainment. So we have another one. Tikha. Tikha means we have swift attainment. So according to meditators' ability, there will be 2 different types of mental process. So if Tikha Panya Boku, Tikha Panya person, like a very sharp person, then they may have different mental process. Parikama will not arise when they attain jhana. So their mental process will be different. Bhanga Chalana, Trembling Bhavanga, Bhangopachita, Arrest Bhavanga, then Manoravajana, mind or dividing consciousness, Upachara, accepts, Numi, Anuloma, conformity, Komi, Kodirabu, change or lineage, after that jhana, then Bhavanga. This is jhana attainment mental process. Now one more thing I have to remind the meditator. We have special recommendation. When we are entering jhana as a new practitioners, enter more. Don't reflect jhana fetters. Then there are also some meditators, they misunderstand jhana fetters. When they can know jhana fetters, they attain jhana. They have that kind of wrong thoughts. Actually, when we enter jhana, when we attain jhana, our minds will take the nimitta as object. Then we cannot take the jhana fetters as object. That is why when we are entering jhana, we must not try to find out how many jhana fetters are working. Then this is called reviewing jhana fetters. So when we become very skillful, when we can practice masteries of jhana, one of them is reviewing jhanas. Jhana fetters, sorry. Jhana fetter, we also say Pachabakhanawasi, reviewing masteries. So what are jhana fetters? You may have known these Pali words, Vitaka, initial application. That means our minds will take given an object, or we will direct our minds to know the nimitta as object. We can also say directing our mind to objects. Then we have second mental fetters, vichara, sustains application. So as vitaka applies, then vichara will sustain or fix on the object. Then, if these two can work together, our mind power becomes strong and powerful. We can keep knowing the object continuously, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and so on. Then we have the next one, piti, join or rupture. We have many different translations. Anyway, here piti, rupture and join. This was a little bit problem with meditator. Sometimes, in the very beginning, when we can meditate well, there will be rupture or join. We call in Pali piti. Like you may feel like you are floating, like it's sinking, or like flying. Suddenly your body is very light. Now when you feel like that, that's piti. Very gross piti. Sometimes you may feel like a hair rising in your body, like insect crawling around your body, all over the body. This is also piti. It's very gross piti. Then, when we attain jhana, piti becomes very subtle, very fine. It invades all over the body, very pleasant. That kind of rupture will be for jhana. It's very gross. That means we haven't attained jhana yet. Fourth, sukha, happiness or bliss. So that means enjoying the bliss of nimitta. Focus on the nimitta, we can feel pleasant, because of free happiness, the bliss. Then many people also ask, what is the difference between piti and sukha? We have one simile. It means that traveling, setting out a very long journey, he was weary of his journey, also a lot of sweat, dusty and thirsty. When he saw, or when he sees a big lake afar, he may feel happiness. This is like a rapture or joy, piti. When he practically goes there and take a shower or drink, it's like a sukha. So the sukha is stronger than piti. Now we have the next one, ekaggata, one-pointedness. So that means knowing one thing, knowing one object all the time. This is called ekaggata. If we know 2 or 3 objects, or if we know many different objects, we are not in jhana. So these 5 are called jhana fetters. When we can attain 4th jhana, then it will be sukha, so it will be ubakha ekaggata, ubakha equanimity. Only that thing will be different. Okay, now when we are going to review these jhana fetters, how is the mental process? It's actually mental process, as we have learned before in our previous talk. Vanga chalana, traveling, life continuum, Bwango Bachera, arrest, life continuum, then Manodhara Vajana, mind to abiding consciousness, then 7 jhanas, 7 embodiment consciousness, then Bhavanga. Why the dharma does not arise here? So previously when we talk about color, sound, smell, taste, touch, all these are ultimate reality. When we take ultimate reality as objects, the dharma, registering minds will arise. But here is very clear object. Although it's very clear object, why the dharma does not arise? It's very simple. I have said, jhana will take concept as object. There are only 2 jhanas that will take ultimate reality. It's not material jhana, it will be immaterial jhana. The second immaterial jhana and the 4th immaterial jhana will take ultimate reality as object. Now we are going to talk about 5 material jhana. That is why all of them will take concepts as object. For example, in the very beginning, we will focus on the breath in and out. This is also concept. Later we may come to see nimitta. This is also concept. Come from the breath. When we can focus on the nimitta, also is concept. That's why when we are reviewing jhana, registering minds, the 2 dharma will not arise. So here we don't have any other exception. Whether is it sharp wisdom or a little bit weak wisdom. Whether it is a sluggish attainment or swift attainment. It will be the same. When we attain, it will be different. When we review, it will be the same. You may have no path and fruition knowledge. When we are practicing vipassana very well, when our insight knowledge becomes very strong and powerful, we can take the path and fruition knowledge. Although we say path attainment, actually path attainment is followed by fruition attainment. Anyway, we have to introduce the middle process. Path consciousness arises only one time. So, whether it may be Sodapati, Sakadagami, Anagami, or Arhat, whatever path consciousness arises, they will arise only one time. That mind is very powerful. For example, if a tree is stricken by a thunderbolt, within one time, it will destroy totally. No need second strike. Similarly, if we attain path of fruition knowledge, especially the first path attainment, path consciousness will arise only one time, it will destroy the defilements. No need second times to destroy defilements or to eradicate defilements. So after the path knowledge, there will be fruition consciousness. They will arise 2 or 3 times after the path consciousness. So, we have to know one more thing here. Path and fruition consciousness both will take Nibbana as objects. This is ultimate reality. Then again, we may have, when entering fruition attainment, fruition consciousness will arise many times. So it will be 2 different conditions. The first time, path attainment, path consciousness will be followed by 2 or 3 fruition consciousnesses. When we enter fruition attainment, many fruition consciousnesses will arise. 2 different things. Then, as we have learned before in jhana, the path consciousness also have, the path attainment also have 2 different types according to the person. We have Bhanga Chalana, Chambalin Bhavanga, and also we have Bhango Paseda, the Arash Bhavanga, Manodara Vajana, mind to advancing consciousness, Parikama, preparation, Upachara, accepts, Anuloma, conformity, Kodarabu, change of lineage. After that, Mega. If somebody attains Sodapati Mega, it will be Sodapati Mega. After that, Sodapati fruition will arise 2 times. Then Bhavanga. This is for Manda Panya. Manda Panya means very weak Western faculties, because of the sluggish attainment. When Western faculties become very weak, then their attainment will become slower. Then we have the next one, Bhanga Chalana. That is it. Trembling Bhavanga, Bhango Pacheta, Aras Bhavanga, Nara Vajana, mind of reviving consciousness. After that, no Parikama, only Upachara, aspects. Then Anuloma, conformity, Godarabu, change of lineage. After that, Mega, then 3 fruitions consciousnesses. After that, Bhavanga. So the first mental process will be for weak Western faculties. Then second mental process will be for strong and sharp Western faculties. It depends on their controlling, how strong they are controlling faculties. Then we also have many different types of attainment, like Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhat, and fruit. Many different types of path and fruition knowledge. Okay, anyway, if there's an entering fruition attainment, what will be the difference? Yes, we also can, after attainment, we also can enter to the fruition attainment. But we cannot enter into path attainment. And path attainment is, I have already said, path consciousness will arise only one time That is why we cannot enter into past attainments. The fruition consciousness will arise many times. That is why we can re-enter into fruition attainment. The fruition attainment of fruition consciousness will take Nibbana as object. This is also ultimate reality. Then what will be the mental process? Then here, the conformity mind moment arise 4 times. Instead of talking Parikama, Upachara, Anuloma, we don't say like this, only conformity. Anuloma. Then, fruition consciousness will arise many times. So, okay, conformity mind moment will arise 3 or 4 times. That means it depends on Mandapanya or Tikapanya. Okay, here I will use Pali word Mandapanya, Tikapanya. Manda means sluggish attainment. Tika means swift attainment. Swift attainment. Then you have known this one. Bhanga Jalana, Trambalin Bhavanga, Bhangupacheda, Arrest Bhavanga, then Manodara Vajana, Milo Ravatin, after that, Anuloma, conformity, Anuloma, conformity, Anuloma, conformity, Anuloma, conformity, 4 mind moments. After that, fruition attainment. Pala means fruition attainment. Then at the end, there will be Bhavanga mind moments falling into the Bhavanga. This is for Mandapanya, the one who has very weak Western faculties. We have Bhanga Jalana, Bhangupacheda, Nodavajana, or rather only 3 conformity consciousnesses. 3 conformity mind moments. After that, fruition. Then finally, Bhavanga. So, here when we talk about fruition, it depends on their determination or their masteries. They will be able to enter into fruition attainment 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, and so on. It depends on how they skillful, how skillful they are. But for about the Deva or Brahma, so their lifespan is long, they don't have good nutrients, they can enter longer than human being. Then again, higher attainments, higher path attainments. It will be slightly different from lower attainments. That means when we attain Saudapati path and fruition knowledge, we have already talked about mental process. Now, when we are going to attain Sakadagami, that means once returner, Anagami, non-returner, and Arhat attainment, then it will be different mental process. Okay, we have to know Parikama, preparation, you know already. Upachara, XX. After that, Anuloma, conformity. You have already known that one. Finally here, Hodana, purity. They don't have to change their lineage because they have already attained noble foods. That is why no more change of lineage. Here we just say Hodana, purity. But the same consciousness will function for these 4. Then we may have Mega, like a Sakadagami Mega, Anagami Mega, or Arhata Mega, one of them. Then we have fruition. As you have known before, fruition will arise 2 or 3 times according to the person or their wisdom faculties. Okay, now, this is mental process. Bhavanga Chalana, Trambalin, life continuum, Bhangupacheda, arrest life continuum, Manodara Vajana, Mindo Aravatin consciousness, and Parikama, preparation, Upachara, asset concentration or SX, Anuloma, conformity, Varana, purity, Mega, the Sakadagami Mega, Pala, Sakadagami fruition, after that, Pavanga. Maybe fruition will be 3 times, or two times, after that, Pavanga. So if the practitioner is Tikapanya, with sharp wisdom, then Parikama will not arise. There come only 3 mind moments before Mega, Upachara, Anuloma, and Vodana. The mental process will be like this. Bhavanga Chalana, Shambhalan Bhavanga, Bhangupacheda, Aras Bhavanga, Mrada Vajana, mind avoiding consciousness, Upachara, Assex, Anuloma, conformity, Varana, purity, after that Mega, then 3 fruition mind moments, after that Bhavanga. This is for higher attainment. Similarly, you can also know, for example, Sakadagami Mega. Now we have already talked about Sakadagami Mega and Sakadagami Phala. Similarly, Anagami Mega, Anagami Phala, Radha Mega, Radha Phala. All of them may have the same types of mental process. Then we have to move to the next one. Reviewing knowledge. We have already talked about mental process of reviewing knowledge, explaining about jhana. But now this time, when we are going to talk about reviewing knowledge, it will be different. For example, Sadapati Mega. The one who attains Sadapati path and fruition knowledge, they will review 5 things. 1. Reviewing the path. Reviewing the path means how many mental fetters arise together with path consciousness. They can review. Then again, reviewing the fruition. They can also review the mental fetters that arise together with fruition consciousness. That means they will review how many mental fetters arise together with fruition consciousness. Now reviewing Nibbana. They will review Nibbana, the object of their path and fruition knowledge. Then 4. Reviewing the eradicated defilements. Yes, we have to know how many defilements are eradicated. For example, Sodapati Mega. They may eradicate all the Sakaya Ditti, identity view. Then they may also eradicate Silapata Paramasa, that means like a rite ritual. Then they may also eradicate Vijikitsa, doubt, or suspicion, especially doubt about novel truths or Dhamma. So, they will review how many defilements have been eradicated by their path and fruition knowledge. Then here we have reviewing the remaining defilements. They may review how many defilements are remaining to be eradicated. Then these are common for Sodapati, Sakadagami, and Anagami. So that means for Sodapati, once redone, there will be 5 reviewing knowledge. For Sakadagami also 5 reviewing knowledge. For Anagami also 5 reviewing knowledge. But for Arhats, only 4, because they don't have remaining defilements. So totally we can calculate how many defilements, so how many review knowledge. So when they are going to review all these 5 conditions or 4, according to their attainments, what will be the mental process? It will be same as before. Vanga Chalana, Pangupachita, Manoravajana, 7 jhanas and Bhavanga. Totally same as reviewing jhana factors. Mental processes are the same, but taking different objects. So when we are going to review jhana, we have to review vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata, jhana factors. But here when they review, it will be reviewing paths, knowledge and associated mental factors, reviewing the fruition, consciousness and its associated mental factors, reviewing nibbana, reviewing the eradicated defilements, reviewing the remaining defilements. So, reviewing the path. Okay, this is a wholesome, right? Reviewing the fruition. This is also resultant. The reviewing nibbana. This is also okay. But what about reviewing eradicated defilements? They take defilement as objects. Reviewing remaining defilements also taking defilement as object. So that means you may also misunderstand. Sometimes I have also review defilements. Sure, that means they review the eradicated defilements. So we have to understand all these 5 reviewing object of reviewing knowledge. Then we also have to know the mental process are same to jhana reviewing. The cessation attainment. So this one is special attainment. Only Anagami who attain the 8 attainments. 8 attainment means 4 material jhanas and 4 immaterial jhanas. When Anagami or an Arahat who can attain 8 attainments can enter into the cessation attainment. There are some meditators, they also ask, does Arahat practice samatha? After attaining, if there are some Arhats, right? They don't attain jhana when they are practicing. They just practice pure upasana vehicle methods. Then they can attain Arhatship. After that, do they practice samatha? I will answer yes. There are some Arhats, they want to enter into the cessation attainment. For that purpose, they will practice samatha. They can easily attain jhana because they have already eradicated many defilements. All the defilements, sorry. What about Anagami? Anagami also can attain jhana very easily because they have eradicated very strong defilements. They have very minor defilements. That is why they can attain jhana easily, and they can also enter into cessation attainment easily. Okay, when we are going to enter into cessation attainment, then what will be the mental process? You know this one already. Parikama, preparation, upachara, assex, anuloma, conformity, kodarabu, change or lineage. After that, neva sanyana sanyayarana, that means neither perception nor non-perception. The 8th attainment, the last one, among the immaterial jhana. So they must, in brief, Anagami or Arhats, they must enter into Nivasanyana Sanyarana jhana. It will arise. After that, Nirodha. Nirodha means cessation. So that means there are also some people, they ask, what's the difference between Nirodha Samapatti and like a fruition attainment. In the fruition attainment, we have mind. Our mind will take Nirvana as object. And Nirodha Samapatti, no more consciousness. So, there are also some other people, they ask, what is the difference between a dead bhikkhu and also Nirodha Samapatti? It's also different. For example, dead body, they don't have bodily heat, body temperature anymore. But Nirodha Samapatti, when they enter, they have body temperature. That is the Kama Broju materialities. Also Tirja or Uruja Arya materialities. Then they will also have nutriment Broju materialities. They also have temperature Broju materialities. But they don't have mind Broju materialities anymore. They don't have mentalities, they don't have consciousness or mental factors when they are entering into Nirodha Samapatti. So, you may have known something about Nirodha Samapatti before they are going to enter Nirodha Samapatti. They have to determine if the Buddha called me, then may I be able to emerge? If Sangha needs, may I be able to emerge? Then they have to determine, may my properties not be destroyed, and so forth. So they can enter into Nirodha cessation attainment for 7 days. No more than that, because we are human beings, right? We cannot survive without food for more than 7 days. That's why Buddha allowed only 7 days, or we can also enter only for 7 days. Then after that, there will be fruition consciousness. So if arhats enter into a cessation attainment, the pala, the fruition consciousness will be arhat fruition. If an anagami, non-returner, enter into the cessation attainment, the pala will be anagami pala, anagami fruition consciousness. This will be different. Then, finally, we have mental process here. So, I think you may have known the one. Parikama, Upachara, Anuloma, Kodarabu. After that, Neva Sanyana 2 times. Then Nirodha Samapatti can be whole day, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 7 day. After that, fruition. Then finally, Bhavanga. So if they are with sharp wisdom, then no more Parikama. Only Upachara, Anuloma, Kodarabu, Nivasana Sanyarana, Nirodha, and then Pala. Now, the process will be different. So you have already know the same in the process as Mega, only few different. So here we have Nirodha. After Kodarabu, we have Nivasanya Nasanya. After that, Nirodha Samapatti, fruition, finally Bhavanga. So this mental process will be only for Anagami and Arhat who attain the 8 attainments. I have said the 8 attainment means they may attain 4 material jhanas and 4 immaterial jhanas. Then we have a few more. Psychic power. I think you may have known psychic power. This is also trainer minds. Also samatha subjects. So we may have different types of psychic power. In Buddha's teaching, we have Divachaku, divine eye. So divine eye means if we can attain this kind of psychic power, we can see very far. Although it was that means the vision is blocked by the mountain or many other things, we can penetrate and we can know and see it. Then, if the object is very tiny, very small, when we have divine eyes, we can see it. It's very far or very small, we can see it. Moreover, we can also see the divine beings. Then this is called Diva Chaku. So later we have to talk about meditation. The last part of Abhidhamma talk will be meditation, right? At the time I have to explain a little bit more. Now I just introduce the psychic power. Then Diva Sota, divine ear. Then you also have known how will be divine ear. Always very small sound or very low tone we can also hear. We can also we can also hear divine sounds. That's called Diva Sota. Although it's very far, also not very clear for ordinary people, but they can hear clearly. That's called Diva Sota, divine ear. Ubinivasa Nosati, recollection of past existence or past lives. So, many people also ask, what is the difference between Ubinivasa Nosati and insight knowledge? So we can also discern our past lives with insight knowledge. We can also see our past lives with psychic power, Ubinivasa Nosati. What are the difference? With insight knowledge, we cannot know very thoroughly. With Ubinivasa Nosati, we can know everything clearly. That means we can know our name, our lineage, how we wear, then how we live, our lifestyles, and everything in detail. But when we discern with insight knowledge, we can know only cause and effects. Karma, something related to karma, Vidarana, Uparana, and so on. So, that will be different between Ubinivasa Nosati, psychic power, and insight knowledge. Now we have Paratita Vichanana, vision minds of other living beings. So you may have known that one, and reading other people's minds with psychic power. It's not very easy to do that one, right? If we can do, sure, we can read many people's mind, we can give direct guidance how to meditate, what to do. What's their very strong feathers, right? Although we cannot know their controlling faculties, we can also know what object they are taking. That's why we can give clear guideline for them. At least better than other teacher, right? So when we have this kind of power, then we can teach better. Then we have the last one, Iti Vida, creating different things. Actually, here we can say creating different things. We can also say like diving into the water, flying on the sky, sitting on the space, and many different things can be done by this kind of psychic power. So we have 5 types of psychic powers according to Buddha's teaching. When we attain psychic power, or when we are going to determine to create something or to do something, what will be the mental process? Okay, now I have to remind you something new. You may remember when we attain jhana for the first time, jhana consciousness arises only one time. Then when we attain path and fruition knowledge, the path consciousness will arise only one time. But now here, when we are going to practice psychic power, Abhidhamma consciousness will arise only one time. So if you review the chapter of consciousness, we have already talked about 5 types of jhanas in 5 material sphere. So among them, the last 5th jhana consciousness is called Abhidhamma. This is according to Abhidhamma. According to Sutta, we have only 4 types of jhanas. Then, when we talk about Suttas, it will be the 4th jhana. It will be the psychic power jhana. Okay, now we should see the mental process. Manoravajana, Parikama, you know already. Parikama preparation, Upachara, sex, Anuloma, conformity, Kodadabu, change of lineage, Abhidhamma, after that, Bhavanga. That's the mental process. With this mental process, they can create, they can see, they can hear, they can recall it, they can reach people's mind. So as usual, we also have to talk about parikama here. Even when we attain psychic power, we may have 2 different types of the meditators. The first meditator is a little bit weak with some faculties. Then there will be parikama, upajara, anuloma, kodaravu, 4 mind moments. If he has very sharp and strong wisdom faculties, it will be the next types. So we have Manoravajana, mind or abiding consciousness. Then parikama. We have no parikama, upachara, sex, anuloma, conformity, godarabu, change of lineage, after that Abhidhamma, then Bhavanga. So if someone has very sharp wisdom faculties, they may have this mental process. Okay, now, today we have learned higher attainment. You have to review all these things. When we study ordinary mental process, like in our daily life, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling, many different, then at the time we have already talked about eye-door mental process, ear-door mental process, nose-door mental process, tongue-door mental process, and body-door mental process. When we think mind-door mental process, when we review or visualize mind-door mental process. So now, here, today we have very high consciousnesses and the mind moments we have learned. Jhana, we have know. If we can meditate well, we can attain jhana. Then we can also attain path and fruition knowledge. We can also attain psychic power if we practice. So today, we always study all the mental process we have studied will be wholesome or functional. If ordinary people, Sodapati and Sakadagami, Anagami, attain jhana, mega, phala, or enter into cessation attainment or psychic power, it will be wholesome mental process. If an arhat attain jhana, review jhana, or attain fusions, or entering into fusion, reviewing, also entering into cessation attainment and psychic power, it will be functional consciousnesses, functional mental process. So today all we have studied are mind-to mental process. Many different types of mind-to mental process. Then, okay, today we have very limited time, right? Okay, I think it's very heavy for you. So, I think you may have more questions also today because some of them very practical, okay? Okay, I will make conclusion. As a conclusion, we have ordinary mind in our daily life. If we can practice, we may have higher mind or superior minds, or better minds, or sublime minds. So we have to train ourselves to have better status or better concentrations. We may have better minds, better practice, then a way for our improvement. To improve our conditions now, we have to practice practically. Okay, if we can practice we may have higher minds, higher practice, then we can improve ourselves. That is why, so for an ordinary mind to higher minds, we have to change letter by letter. It's our ambitions, our goal. We have to set our goal, then we have to go as we have set the goals, as we have aim. Then may you all be able to practice samatha and vipassana until you can experience all these mental processes practically. May you all be able to realize the final sensations, nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhante.
Hi, Bhante. I would like to ask you, when you get into the fourth jhana, the five doors, the eyes, the nose, the ear, the tongue, and the body, are they will close? You won't feel anything, just the mind know it, or that is not right? Because I would like to ask you that first question. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, when we are entering jhana, we cannot see. We close our eyes already, right? We must not hear anything, we smell or taste or touch or anything. We just keep knowing the nimitta continuously. That's called jhana. That means our mind must absorb on the one object. If we know 2 or 3 objects, that's not jhana. Okay?
So that means you close the five doors. You only know the one subject, the nimitta. That's
Sure.
okay.
The
second thing, when you do the meditation of the jhana and the vipassana, the one subject, the breathing on the for the samadhi is like only the breath is on here. What is different? The object, the breathing between the samadhi and the vipassana, what is different? How would you know how to get one object and you know the object, this is for your vipassana, for the breathing, and the object, the breathing at the main here for samadhi. How you can recognize can you tell me, explain the
okay.
one object for the two?
It's very big topic, right? It's a very big topic. Okay. So we have concept breath in and out. According to ultimate reality, we don't have in or out. We just have only like a conscious aware no objects, then contact past aware, contact between mind objects, and so on, right? So when we talk about samatha, it's very simple. Just keep knowing in our breath through the touching points. When we are going to talk about vipassana, it will be many different things. For example, 4 elements in the breathing and breathing out. In the breathing, there are 9 materialities. We have to know these 9 materialities in the breathing. They also arise as the particles. We also have to know everything in detail. And we also have to know how many consciousness, how many mental process, also how many mental factors arise when we know the object. Right? This is called nama rupa. If we can know everything in detail, we are very beginning of vipassana. Then after that, if we can know mental process, arising and perishing very repeatedly, then we may have another one, cause-effect relationship. What are the cause of these things? After that, we have to continue contemplate as anicca, dukkha, anatta, and so on. It will take a little bit longer. Okay, for your information, as a beginner, try to know breathing. Don't think about any other things. It should be better for you, right? It will be better for you. Okay? Then?
Okay, thank you. One thing, yeah.
Okay, next questioner. I can see, okay, if no parikama, no need to make conformity between parikama and absorption. So I think no need anuloma. Okay, so this is actually mental process, right? So Citta Niyama. When we say Citta Niyama, we have to understand if Buddha say 4, it must be 4. It cannot be 3. If the Buddha say 3, it cannot be 4 or 5, anything, right? It can be 3. Okay, one more thing here. So if there's a no parikama, you say no parikama, no need to make conformity between parikama and absorption, right? Actually, here conformity means conformity between ordinary states to jhana state also possible. Conformity can be many different, right? So that means, okay, I think, okay, how should be the example? Okay, if you have to jump to climb up 2 steps of a staircase, for example, if you just go 1 step and step, okay. If you skip 2 steps, it will be difficult for you, right? Similarly, if there's a parikama, okay, we can skip the last one. After that, if we also skip anuloma, for example, right? Then there will be very big gap between the mental process. That's why. So whatever higher mind moments, higher mental fact, or higher consciousness arises, there must be anuloma, conformity. It will make conformity between lower one and higher one. Okay?
One time, Bhanteji, I want to know that Anapan-sati or Vipassana, which is most important for a lay person.
Also very practical, right? Actually, both of them are important for ordinary people. So, Anapanasati is also can be foundations for Vipassana. Okay? Sometimes, without good foundations, if we practice, we cannot improve easily. If we have good foundation, we can improve faster. That is why both of them are important. Okay? They are interdependent. I have already given the answer. Okay, you still ask the same question. I have to change the answer. Okay? So it depends on the personality. Okay? So, Anapanasati is good for everybody if we practice skillfully. But Vipassana is not that simple as I understand. That means we have to know many different types of materialities. We also have to know many different types of mentalities, mental process, their functioning, and their causes. It will be many different things to know. To know all the ultimate reality clearly, we must have stronger concentration. Okay?
Yeah.
That's why, as a beginner, you must practice Anapanasati. Then, when you can concentrate very well, you can continue to Vipassana. Okay? So it depends on personality. I cannot say which is more important. There are some pure Vipassana vehicle practitioners. So for them, they must start practicing 4 elements meditation. Based on that, they can also proceed descending ultimate materialities and mentality and so on. Right? There are many different steps. That is why I cannot say exactly. It depends on personality. Both of them are important. Okay? Is okay, right? Okay.
Okay, I saw Sally Varakanti's question on the chat. So the question is, Bante, to see Nibbana easy or difficult?
Okay. To see Nibbana is easy or difficult? If easy, everybody will attain, right? It's difficult to see. But one more thing here, it depends on how mature our insight knowledge. So if we have very strong and powerful insight knowledge, it can be within a few seconds. If our insight knowledge is not very powerful, it will take longer time. It depends on how we practice and how strong we are and how strong our controlling faculties. Okay?
Also from Sally, may I ask a question regarding to the reviewing of eradicated defilements and remaining defilements? Just Arya persons with pariyati can do, or to all Arya even without pariyati knowledge? So the question, if the Arya doesn't have pariyati knowledge, can he also do the reviewing on eradicated and remaining defilements?
Actually, it can be for anybody. This is their nature, right? They were trying to review one of the 5, or sometimes they will not review. Okay, so that means it doesn't mean they have to review all the 5. They will review some of them, or they will review all of them. That's why with pariyati or without pariyati they can review. Okay.
We have another question from Beatrice. Okay, Bante, at first I thought 5 jhana factors only exist when people have jhana. Later I knew they are also cetasikas, which means even no jhana, vitaka and vichara arise in our mind. Can you give an example when they function with unwholesome citta?
Okay, so vitaka. Okay, we have 3 unwholesome thoughts. You also say miccha sankappa or miccha vitaka. That one is thoughts of evil, thoughts of cruelty. Then we also have thoughts of sensual pleasure. Okay, there are 3 types of thoughts. So if you think about somebody, bad behavior, or if we hate somebody, you may keep thinking about him. You want to destroy him, you want to destroy him or her. In this case, we can know unwholesome thoughts. This is also called vitaka. Similarly, vichara, sometimes you just direct your mind, you fix your mind on it. Also can be. So, it can be with lobha, it can be with dosa, it also can be with moha, it also can be like a suspect. You doubt about something, you keep thinking about the doubt all the time. Your mind you direct your mind toward the doubt all the time. This is also called unwholesome. Okay, the main thing is, actually, whenever we see something, there's a vitaka vichara. You can practically understand in the jhana, embodiment consciousness. If you review citta and cetasika and their association, you can easily know it. Okay? So, the main thing is, in our daily life, whatever we see, we hear, we smell, or we think, in the embodiment, vitaka vichara will arise. Okay? Then, next question.
Vandami, Bante, please can you explain again about the path attainment for Sakadagami and higher attainment? I'm not very clear about the Vodana. Can Bante please explain?
Okay, Vodana means okay. So, the main thing I think changing Kodarabu, change our lineage, and Vodana, right? These 2 are different. For Sodapati, we have Kodarabu, change our lineage. For Sakadagami, Anagami, that we call Vodana purity. So that means, as noble person, they don't need to change their lineage. When they attain Sodapanna, they become noble person, right? Change our lineage means from inferior state to superior stage, right? So now, when they attain higher attainments, so they are noble person already, that's why they don't need to change lineage anymore. They are noble person already. No need change of lineage, only purity. Okay? But actually the same mind, the same types of consciousness arise.
If Pandami Sādhu, is it important to memorize all this mental process?
Yes, if you can remember, it will be easier when you practice practically. Right?
So it will affect when we practice the Vipassana?
Yeah, it can be. For example, like Nama discernment, when you are going to discern Nama, right? We have discern mentalities, then it will be as a mental process. So if we understand mental process, then we can practice a little bit faster. Another thing is it will be useful for cause of a relationship, patana, and many other cases. So actually, later I have to explain patana. For example, Anandara Pajayo. You can know mental process. If you don't know mental process, you cannot understand patana. Okay? So it will be helpful for practitioners, it's helpful for patana learning, it will be helpful for your daily life also. In your daily life, you can also recall it. What kind of mind you have, and so on. Right? So it's also important to know mental process. Okay?
But the mind moment is arise and it's very fast, so we can notice one by one when we practice.
Okay, so in my previous talk, I have already explained the simile, right? For example, you are going to catch fish on a small stream. When you are catching one fish, many fish will pass by. Then you will throw the fish to the baskets. Then you catch another fish. You will use two hands. In the very beginning, you have to use two hands to catch one fish, right? Later, when you become skillful, one hand, one fish, you can catch. After that, when you can catch faster and faster, then you're going to skip any fish. Whatever fish can you will catch immediately, right? Like this. It depends on skill. In the very beginning, you're going to catch everything. You will catch only a few mind moments. Many mind moments will pass. Gradually, you will become skillful. You can know all the mental process. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Sādhu. Sādhu.
Okay, Bande, the questions from Joseph is Bande, in the jhana mind states and higher attainment, how is the jhavana in the chitta process?
Actually, jhavana is parikama, upachara, anuloma also jhavana. Then jhana is also called jhavana. Okay, this is it. They are called jhavana. So that means if we say easily, manoravachana, after that jhavana. So similarly, mega, there's a manoravachana, mind to adhavajin consciousness. After that, parikama, upachara, anuloma, kodadavu. These are also called jhavana. After that, mega, this is also jhavana. Phala also jhavana. Fruition also jhavana. After that, bhavanga. No dadaramana.
My question is that in mental process is actually everything is mental process, or except dying rebirth process. Then we have jhana process, five-door process, mind-door process, jhana process, and path process is actually all mind process.
Mental process, yeah.
If I understood well, the Buddhist goal is to attain arahanthood, and that means we work, we meditate just four times see to pass by path process, right? 4 times. Because it's one corresponding sotapanna, one no return arahant. So we work for 4 times for impulse of path and then fruition. This is right.
So,
in whole resume, the aim of our work.
Okay, if somebody attain nirvana from Sodapati to Arhat within one few seconds, right? Okay, so we have many different mental process. For example, you may have known many Arhats. After listening a short discourse from the Buddha, they attain Arhatship, right? So that means they will attain Arhatship from ordinary people to Arhatship. So that means, as ordinary people, then they will have Sodapati path and future knowledge. After that, revealed knowledge. Then Sakadagami path and future knowledge, mental process. Okay, after that, revealed knowledge, mental process. Then Nagami, so on, right? Many mental processes arise. So within one finger snaps, millions of mental processes can arise. That's why mental processes are very rapid. Within only 1 second, a few seconds, they can attain Arhatship. Actually, all the mental processes are according to the Chitta Niyama, the law of consciousness, right? Okay.
Okay, one day I'm Sue. Last time I did ask one question, but I couldn't get the answer clearly. When we want to practice Vipassana, is it should be our emotional has been very calm and the concentration is very stable, only we can go into Vipassana, or it should be after achieving nimitta, only we go into Vipassana to understand deeper about all those materiality.
Okay, so we have two different options. You may have known two Vipassana vehicle and Samatha vehicle. You may have known these two types, right?
Yes.
So if you are practicing Samatha vehicle, sure you must attain jhana. If you cannot attain jhana, we cannot say Samatha vehicle. So what about Vipassana vehicle? So when you are going to practice Vipassana vehicle, you must start with 4 elements meditation. Actually, we have many sources about that kind of saying, right? Okay, that means if we have Samatha practice, attaining jhana, we have more choice, more options to meditate. If we don't practice Samatha, we don't attain jhana, we don't have choice. Only one way. Discern 4 elements, discern ultimate reality, especially materialities first, all the rupas, all types of rupas. After that, go to mentalities, all types of nama. So now your question is emotion, right? You talk about emotion. Actually, when we are going to study about Vipassana, we have some quality of citta at the time. What will be the quality of citta to practice Vipassana? Okay, one more thing is Vikatubekilese. The mind is free from defilements. When the mind is free from defilements at the time, we can practice Vipassana. So there are 8 qualities, too much, right? One of them is emotion, as we say, emotion, free from defilements. This is one thing. Another one is we call Motu Buddhi. Mind must be flexible and soft. Sometimes our mind is a little bit gross, especially when we have defilements. Mind becomes very gross. Also, a lot of exciting emotion, we cannot improve easily. So the main thing is train mind gradually. As I say, if we say jhana, we must have nimitta. But when we are going to talk about 4 elements also, we will have nimitta, but different. Okay? When you discern 4 elements, your body will change to transparent, translucent body. Then, like ice block or glass or something like that, you can break down by discerning space on it. You can see the particles, discern 4 elements in the particles, and so on. There are many different steps to practice Vipassana. Okay? And another question?
I think I understand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So.
Sadhu.
And may I ask that the good rule in the jhana attainment and in path attainment and the cessation attainment are the same?
Okay. So the same consciousness will function according to the personality. Okay, for example, we say Tikha and Manda, two types, right? The same consciousness will function.
Yeah.
Okay, the same consciousness. But one more thing here, we have to know, for arahats, it will be functional consciousness.
Yeah.
For ordinary people, it will be wholesome consciousness, right? Only that thing will different. The same consciousness will function as a Kodrabu, sure. Okay?
Yeah. But such a Kodrabu and the mind process is not the same. And what are the difference between it?
Okay, actually, the Kodrabu is sensual sphere consciousness. Sensual sphere means like karma vachara, karma runs, right? So after Kodrabu, then it will be higher consciousness. That means jhana is Mahakata already, higher attainments. Similarly, Mekha also higher attainment already. Pala also, fruition also higher attainment already. That's why from inferior level to superior level, if we are going to change, there will be Kodrabu. Okay? Any other question? Okay, your question is Kodrabu. There are many other different types of mind moments after Kodrabu. This is your question, right? Many different mind moments after Kodrabu, right?
Yes.
What is the difference between that? Okay, the main thing is Kodrabu is sensual realms. Like we are human being, sensual being. Then if we say jhana is higher than sensual realms. Have you ever studied chapter 1 of Abhidhamma Sangha?
Yeah.
Have you studied? Yes. Chapter 1? Okay. You may know Mahakata Chitta and Kamavachara Chitta. Kodrabu is Kamavachara Chitta, then after the Mahakata Chitta. Or the jhana, right? Again, Kodrabu is Kamavachara Chitta, Mekha is Lokottara Chitta. Pala is also Lokottara Chitta. That's why it's a change in lineage. Okay? So it will function the same, but after that, it will change the lineage. Okay?
Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu.
Oh, Sādhu. Namaste, Sādhu. Good evening. Sādhu, I want to ask benefit. Is it that we learn mental factor? Benefit is for us to skillfully to know about what? The second one? Is it right we can attain Magga and Pala Citta in this life? And then how the mental process, and then what a relationship with first Java? Please, Sādhu, advice. Thank you very much, Sādhu.
Not quite clear. The first question is?
The first question is benefit of
learning mental process or mental fetters. Mental process or mental fetters. Okay. So, if we can know, in the very beginning of this chapter, right, I have already explained different types of components. So, if we have learned many types of mental fetters and mental process, if we know in which case what kind of mental process arises, then we can easily know. We can discern Namarupa easily, right? This is the first thing we can understand. It will be beneficial for our practice. The second one is not quite clear. Magga-phala. What is it?
Can we attain Magga and Pala Citta in this life?
Oh, it depends. Okay. Okay, question is it?
What the relationship with Javana first?
Okay. Actually, in the mental process, we have already shown. That means when you attain Magga-phala in this very life, we have Magga mental process first. Okay? Magga path attainment mental process first. Jhana will be, okay, previous question also asked me the same things. Like Jhana, Parikama, Upachara, Anuloma, Kodrabu, Magga-phala, all are Jhana, impulsions. Then,
yes.
Okay? Then that is why it will be not much difficult for you to understand, I think. Okay?
Thank you very much, Sādhu.
Good evening, Sādhu. So may they be to ask Sādhu about, is it the Brahma they don't arise the Tataramana conscious, is it? Although they see the Buddha.
Yeah,
so, that means the Brahman, they didn't arise the Tataramana mind thought, although they see the Buddha, is it, Sādhu?
Sure. So that means I have actually in the previous talk I have already explained. It must be Kama Sada. Kama Sada means sensual living beings. Brahma are not sensual beings. They are Brahma, right? It must be sensual objects. The object can be sensual, no problem. Then after that, Javana must be sensual Javana. When we have these three, there will be Tadaramana. So now, object is sensual object, okay. Javana also sensual Javana, okay. But living beings are Brahma, not sensual being. That's when the Tadaramana cannot arise.
So that means, if in case they also arise the Kama Vachara mind thought, so they will not also arise the Tataramana, they will straight away go to Bhavanga. So it's in no matter is Arya or non-Arya Brahma, is also the same, is it?
Yeah, the same.
Okay, Sādhu.
So Sādhu, there's a last question from Siale Varakanti. Sādhu, Pa U Nu Go, the same Mahakusala Chitta but different function, the mental power of them different or the same?
Okay, they are very close to jhana, that is why they are the same level, okay? Not much difference. Okay?
Brother Edmund, there's one more question from Bhikkhu Karuna.
So the question is, Sādhu, if a bhikkhu got Sangha Disena, he just apati desana every day as usual, but because of COVID, so he cannot panatan penalty with 21 other monks. So how he can do in Sangha community before he has chance to penalty followed Vinaya?
Okay. So in this case, because of danger, okay, you have to think about only the as long as you're waiting for it, it doesn't matter. So you parivasa, you know, I think you talk about in the parivasa maybe. For parivasa, okay, now you cannot do parivasa because you cannot see any bhikkhus. There's a danger, okay, we can say how do that? Obstacle. Okay, there's obstacle, that's why it doesn't matter. If you remember how many days you can see, then in which day you confess. So that means you break rules today, you just do Abhidhamma today, then no concealing, right? Just go to Manada, no parivasa. That's why it doesn't matter. Just wait until the condition become good.
And my question is, Bande mentioned if some people's mind is very sharp, so there's no parikama. That means when he enters jhana, he is faster because no preparation. I want to know, for example, if Sādhu can enter jhana faster, it means every time he can enter jhana without parikama, or sometimes if his health is not very good, he still needs the parikama.
So actually, okay, parikama can be many other conditions. As you say, there can be something difficulty, right? Previously, I have already talked about like for example, defilements. Also, like as you say, unhealthy, for example, that kind of condition, right? So it can be different. So, for about Kripa Vinya and Danda Vinya, we have many other supporting causes, right? I think in the very beginning of Dhamma talk, I have explained. According to all these conditions, it will be different. Okay? Then sometimes it can be Kripa Vinya, sometimes it can be Danda Vinya.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
Dear Bante, thank you very much for your teaching today. May Bante lead us in making aspirations and sharing merits, please.
Yadavada ja'amehi sambadam bunya sambadam Sabbe Deva Numodandu Sabba Sambati Siddhiya Idame Nyadinam Hodu Sukhita Hondu Nyadayo Idame Nyadinam Hodu Sukhita Hondu Nyadayo Idame Nyadinam Hodu Sukhita Hondu Nyadayo Idame Bunyam Asawakaya Waham Hodu Idame Bunyam Nibbanasa Pajayo Hodu Mama Bunya Bhagam Sabbasadanam Bhajemi Te Sabbe Me Samam Bunya Bhagam Labandu. Sadhu, sadhu,
sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bante, and everyone for the time and participation. If we did anything wrong as the co-host or the host, we ask for forgiveness from Bante and also from the participants. Till we meet again on next Saturday, may all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.